dropped, and it's absolutely amazing as usual, as all Sonicware LIVEN products are. The Sonicware LIVEN Evoke, and this thing is called an acoustic synthesizer. Sorry, acoustronic synthesizer with granular effects, and it's got $239 price tag, $259 if you want the power cable. I think this here is absolutely insane. I am the proud owner of an Ambient Zero from Sonicware, and I think it's an absolute monster. And we're doing this old school, man. We're going breaking news with the paper, just like they do on like Tom Brokaw style, you know, old school 60 minutes. We got our papers here. We got it all printed out. So yeah, this thing is an absolute beast, man. 100 units ready to ship in June, which I think is cool. And if you haven't tried any of the Sonicware products, the LIVEN, the Sonicware Ambient Zero, their granular one, they got a texture one. Can't even remember all the names of them now, to be honest with you. It's early in the morning. I just finished working friggin' 6 hours. What's up, Malmo? Yeah, and now I'm taking a little break here, having a coffee, bringing you guys the breaking news, vertical style, with the Evoke. Now, $239, I think anybody can afford this. And Synthpotamus, I noticed your comment yesterday. You said, I think it was you were like, this is cool if people are just looking for something to add to their setup. No, bro. These here things are so friggin' powerful, they'll blow your mind. The Sonicware Ambient Zero that I got, actually, when I plugged it in, I was expecting, you know, it's plastic, it's $239, it's not gonna be amazing. When I plugged that thing in, it actually sonically blew away most of the synthesizer I have in my studio. Like, it gave me the what Echo Craft calls chicken skin, but I call goosebumps. It's amazing. We're just gonna go over. I'm gonna go through the features of what this has. Yeah, dude. Synthpotamus, pick up an Ambient Zero or pick this one up. But there's a video right now you can go watch of this one paired with the Ambient Zero, and they go so good together, man. They're absolute monsters. I'll go through the specs here over this little coffee now once we get going. And I got two big packets of stuff to go through with you. And then I also got this crazy news of Teenage Engineering making a friggin' suitor. And you know, I mean, you know I love Teenage Engineering, FTE all the way. So I think this is absolutely hilarious. And yeah, you might be asking yourself, why do I print in black and white? Because I need to save money for synthesizers, okay? That's why I print in black and white. Yeah, you want to learn more about the Sonicware stuff? Well, you're going to learn about it today, my brother. I'm going to go through it all with you right here, right now. I got it all laid out. Let me get the papers and the shots. There we go. Just like Alex Jones does on InfoWars. It's got all the papers laid out for you to see. Shout out to the Maple Syrup Mafia, representing the Toronto Blue Jays today with some camo. Doing good. All right, let's go through it, man. Let's go through what we got here, because I couldn't wait to get up this morning and check out what the specs were on this thing, because I had to go to bed super early because I get up and actually work, you know. I just do this crap for fun. So we got Sonicware expands its LIVEN series with the new Evoke, a new ambient synthesizer with newly developed acoustronic flux oscillator. I mean, that's some sweet verbiage right there, okay? Acoustronic flux oscillator and a granular effects engine. Cool. I feel like these are blowing away the Volcas. The Volcas used to be the mini boxes where you could put them together and string them along and create this very cool thing. And the core Volcas are still cool, but they're crazy dated now. And these Sonicwares, although they're plastic, they're absolute sonic powerhouses. And for $239, you don't believe me, it's right here. It's backwards, but you can read backwards unless you're dumb. All right, so let's go through this, what we got here. It's identical in form factor to the other LIVEN series, the Ambient Zero, the texture, all that. What has it got different? So it's got this newly acoustronic flux oscillator, and it's got 34 built-in acoustic instruments, and it puts them into 256 time fragments. Then it uses a back-tied modulation to reverse them, like an ebbing tide and added undulating motion. Okay, pre-ordered the Evoke thing first thing this morning. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pre-order it when I go home. Hopefully I can get in on the first batch. I should just pre-order it right now, actually. I should cut this show short and go pre-order it before everyone else pre-orders it. We got, it's got 22 wave sub oscillator, built on 128 harmonics. It can creatively blend sounds of the AF oscillator and can be pitched over plus or minus 2 octave range. In the subs, you can also find 2 types of generated white noise with different filters. Very cool. It's got a crazy chord mode, which is one of the coolest things about this. All right, to effortlessly play different types of chords without having to actually know how to play chords. Do you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. One finger on any white key gives you a beautiful chord. It gives you various scales, including diatonic. Also features a chord pad styles. They give you progressions by simply tapping the key sequence. Once the sounds are layered in the desired way, they go into a sophisticated granular processor. The grain effect slices your phrases into micro grains and transforms and reconstructs them in a variety of fascinating ways. Cool. Any info on the algorithms they use? Yeah, I'm going to get into that in a minute there, Synthpotamus. We've got, you can't just adjust the granular engine parameters. You can do grain shape, time warp, spatial positioning, playback mode, and additionally grain pitch can be harmonized using the octaves, perfect fifths, other musical scales, and then buffer from the sizes from eighth notes to full bar sync. Monstrous, huge. The granular processor got well-crafted atonal drones and noiseescapes, and it's got a crazy reverb and effects engine in it, and also stereo, because it's a monster in stereo. Connectivities, blah, 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 but we go over here, we got to add even more ambient space. It's got 10 different reverb types, including a new Mirage algorithm. You can also combine the reverb and the grain effects to achieve unique shimmering reverbs. Yeah, the videos I seen, Andy, the videos I watched too were crazy when they paired it up with the Ambient Zero. I thought it was nuts. And at $239, why wouldn't you get it? That's cheap as hell. All right, so that's basically what we got there. And let me get into the more detail on the algorithms here, like Synthpotamus wants. So I got this right from the LIVEN site. Again, you can see the crazy price. And in a minute, we're gonna get into the new Teenage Engineering moped scooter, which I think is pretty hilarious too. So cheers to everyone. Hope you got a coffee poured up. No need to rush through this. I'm rushing here. I should just relax for a minute. I know all the other boys are in bed. I know EchoCraft, Hans Volt, Machines One, Synthpunk, they all like to sleep in. You know what I mean? They're not early birds, put it that way. I got a half day of work already in. So this is easy. Easy work. This is just break time I'm doing this. All right, let's get into it. So we got an overview. So we got, like I said, you can read backwards. We got nostalgia evoking ambient music box. All right, we got timelessly interwoven with synthesized acoustic instruments with hypnotic granular effect. We got the Acoustronic Flux Oscillator. This is a new synth engine that turns acoustic instrument essence into a unique acoustronic sound. We got grain effects. We got a musical granular effect, micro grain slicing, transform phrases into musical glitches involving textures. We got dense and multi-dimensional reverb. So in this thing, and I can vouch for this from experience, the Ambient Zero's reverb engine is insane. It's awesome. And the cool thing about the Ambient Zero, I'm not sure about this one, but I'm pretty sure you can do input in. I'm trying to look here. Hold on. Pretty sure. I can't see it on here, but yeah. So you can take your synthesizer and go into this beauty and use it as an effects engine, right? Or an effects pedal. So you can use the awesome reverbs. So they've got 10 diverse reverbs, and they just added a new one called Mirage, which creates these crazy deep atmospheres. What's up, Attorney? And then we go into this, man. All right. The Evoke is an ambient music box featuring drumless ensemble of 4 synthesized acoustic instruments. So if you don't know much about the LIVEN series, there's basically specifically the Ambient Zero and this one. They're the only ones I'm going to talk about because they're the only ones I know. But they've got 4 engines in them. So they basically got 4 synthesizers in one, right? You can run them all in 4 parts. You can run each part separately. You can run 2 parts, 1 part, 3 parts, that kind of thing there, right? Working and lurking. What's up, Georgie G's? So we've got 4 synthesized acoustic instruments, ideal for synthematic and ambient post-classical music. Easily layer sounds using direct note input, note hold, 1-finger chord mode, and then you can apply the granular effect to explore these beautifully soothing and immersive sonorities. All right. Evoke comes with 16 chord styles, including both scale-based, such as diatonic chords, and intuitive chord pad styles that offer pleasant progressions simply by tapping keys in sequence like a pad. Huh. So, I mean, they couldn't make it any more easier for you, right? You hold down a pad, and it'll run a chord sequence for you in chord pad mode, which is a cool little feature. But one of the beautiful things is it's got the 4-track sequencer. So this thing is, is a monster. It's a tiny little box. You're looking at $239. You get a 4-track sequencer. You basically get an insane reverb effects unit that you can audio in any of your synthesizers to and run it in and then back out into your mixer. And now you've got a crazy reverb box, right? Totally mental. We've got the acoustic flux oscillator here. This is the part that's the new part, all right? The acoustic flux oscillator is the new synth engine. It generates an evolving sound where acoustic and electronic elements resonate seamlessly and blend together. By synthesizing instrument, which captures the delicate sonic transitions of acoustic instruments with wave, which adds a harmonic textural variation, Evoke delivers its own distinctive acoustronic sound. So what they're doing is they're taking a bunch of acoustic instruments and then they're taking them and they're smashing them and breaking them apart with the grains and stuff, right? And then also they might take like an acoustic, let's just use an acoustic guitar for an example, and just pull it apart, okay? Or split it into tiny little pieces and then layer them across each other in this multi-dimensional visualization of perfect harmony. Do you understand what that means? That means insanity, okay? So you can see it here, I got black ink. So we got instrument, blend, backtide, and speed. So that's the acoustronic flux oscillator. It's got 4 parts, right? The instrument feature, okay, that setting that I just showed you. It's got 34 acoustic instruments. They each contain a set of 256 acoustic characteristic arrays and applies backtide modulation to reverse their evolution like an ebbing tide and an undulating motion. So that sounds pretty cool to me, right? Can you make it sound like a hoverboard? Dude, one of the features on this, it actually says you can make it sound like a hoverboard. So it was written here, but the computer blocked it out. It said, ** can sound like a hoverboard if you can figure out how to work it. All right, so it comes with 34 acoustic instruments. I don't think we got a list of those in here. We got a couple actually, so I can go through a couple of these instruments. We run the acoustic instrument generator through the backtide modulation, then we run it into a blender, then we do a sonic wave generator, okay, which contains the waveforms, and then we also got a noise generator for architecture of that synth engine. If it sounds like I'm speaking another language, I am. We're speaking synth, okay? If you don't know what we're talking about, then you don't know what we're talking about. So we've got the wave function, so the instrument and then the wave in the acoustic flux oscillator. Just to recap, if you're not paying attention, class. The acoustic flux oscillator, acoustronic flux oscillator has instrument, blend, backtide, and speed. That's the kind of parameters we're working with within that oscillator, okay? Under the wave feature, you got 20 waveforms, and then you got 128 harmonic tables, enabling the rich harmonic movement, and you got pitch control, which I already said, ±2 octave range, and then you got 2 types of filtered white noise generators. By interweaving the instrument and the wave, the Evoke delivers a wide spectrum of sounds from nostalgic pianos and drone strings to bizarre vibraphones. So if you go onto the SoundCloud, that's where they post all their instruments right here. If you go onto Sonicware's SoundCloud, we got things like Dust Trail piano, we've got an ensemble piano, we got drone strings, we got the Elking tuba, we've got snowing aromanica, whatever the heck that is, okay? Cool. 34 instruments, 20 waves, 2 noise in the list. So right off the bat, they're coming with a lot of sonic, a huge sonic palette, which the Sonicware always does. What's up, Captain Energy? What's up, Crazy Rabbit, brother? We're just here going over this, my man. At the moment, we're talking about the Sonicware LIVEN Evoke. We're reading backwards today because we're looking to increase our neuroplasticity and expand that giant muscle inside of the skull encasing in our heads. If you can't read backwards, then you're probably not good at reading forward either. And then we also got this breaking news: Teenage Engineering, new scooter. Cool? All right, let's get back to business. Next, we're going to go into the grain effects. All right. The Evoke is equipped with a dedicated granular grain effects engine that slices your phrases into micrograins and transforms and reconstructs them in a variety of arrays, manipulating grain shape, time warp, spatial positioning, playback mode to create entirely new sounds. So the cool part about that is that the grain pitch can be harmonized in octaves, perfect fifths, musical scales. You can buffer the sizes of everything together to deliver them. Yeah, so you know what? We don't need to go into too much of the details of that, but basically you can do a ton of crap that you'll figure out once you get it. But some of the most fun things to do with this thing is just to sit down and mess around and not even go into too much detail, to be honest. The grain effects send levels can be set on each track, and the effect can also be applied to the stereo signals from the line input. So you've got a 4-track sequencer that you can apply separate effects to each track. Doesn't that sound insane? I mean, wow. Randomized grain swapping, exactly. That's exactly what it is, Synthpotamus. It's got 16 preset patches. Let you dial in the music granular effects with just 2 grain knobs. The thing about it is too, the Ambient Zero, they just did a massive update, and they got these things called palettes on the Ambient Zero, which are basically gigantic, huge soundscapes. What's up, Rob Murphy? Gigantic, huge soundscapes. And they just put in a whole new update which allowed you to, let me get the papers in the shot here, right? So we look like we're actually doing some work here and bringing you some real stuff, you know? Got to get it set up like a news table. All right, so let's keep going. Anyways, this is another cool feature. It's got the dense and multi-dimensional reverb, which they just added a new algorithm that's supposed to be absolutely out of this world, and it's called Mirage. Okay. You got 10 different reverb types, and like I said, this has got an audio in and an audio out. So you can obviously run a synthesizer in this and use all the reverbs from this specific device as an effects unit for your synthesizer. So if you got a mono synth like the Messenger, you can actually run the Messenger into the LIVEN Evoke, and now you've got 10 insane reverb algorithms. And anybody who's got a Sonicware device knows that the reverb algorithms in this thing are friggin' awesome. Okay? You can adjust the levels per track like we just said, as well as the grain effect sends, right? So you're running 4 sequence tracks. You can have different reverb levels on each track. It allows you so much soundscape sculpting for these things for $239. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going. All-in-one 4-track sequencer. All right. The Evoke provides LIVEN's signature features as 4-track sequencer. Known for recording both your performance and changes in sound parameters. So not only can you record your performance, you can also record the changes as well, right? What do we call that? allowing you to craft a wide variety of compositions. Has anyone got hands on Sonicware Easy Play? If so, thoughts? Crazy Rabbit, I don't know anyone. I think one of the boys from Pro Synth Network, Andrew, got it, I think. Captain Energy, did you get it? Captain Energy might have got it too. Captain Energy Music, I'm not sure if you got it, but I was looking at that, man. I was looking at that. The sequences, let's see, what does it say? The sequences can run, 4-track sequencer. You got 4 tracks. I think it's 256 steps per track. I think. Could be 64. Anybody in the chat know? Can answer that for Synthpotamus? What is the sequence length on the LIVEN gear? I think it might be 64 per track, right? I think. Could be 256. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. Let me just look through again and see if it says. Chord oscillator. I'm just looking here to see if I can see the how many steps you can put in the sequence. 256 per track would be great. I think it might be, man. I think it might be. I don't have the details on here because they didn't put it in, but that seems like a very important detail. But I think the detail of the sequence length is probably standard to the LIVEN series, so I'm guessing if you're going to pick up the Evoke, you're probably familiar with it. It is 64 per track. You're correct. Okay, yeah, 64 per track. So, I mean, that's still pretty good with a 4-track sequencer, if you ask me. So you got a lot of power there, man. Listen, and I'm going to get this, actually. I'm going to get the LIVEN Evoke because I had such a positive experience with the Ambient Zero that it just made me feel nice. And it's a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying to get the workflow, but who cares? A lot of things are annoying, you know? Yeah, Malmo, the workflow sucks. It's very Japanesey. If you know anything about Japanese workflows, they're different than Western workflow, you know? Their brains are wired differently. To them, it makes a lot of sense. All right, take it easy, Crazy Rabbit. You take it easy, bro. Live dangerously. You tell me to stay safe, I'll tell you to live a little dangerously. How about that? Then we balance each other out. A little bit of yin and yang. Yeah, so that's cool. So I think this is a 100% $236 must-buy purchase. I don't know why you wouldn't get this, and I think it will add an element to your setup, especially if you're into live performing, live jamming, or just you like getting lost in complete sonic soundscapes with sounds that you probably would find difficult to get this much firepower set up and running so seamlessly with all your synthesizers. You can do this with the 4-track sequencer in this thing. It's an absolute monster, and this is certified Renegade approved. We'll call that CRA, okay? Certified Renegade approved. This is legit. I already know it sounds amazing because all their gear sounds amazing. You're gonna get it. It's super light. It feels like a plastic piece of crap, but under the hood, it's an absolute monster. Absolute monster under the hood, right? It's like one of those geodes. It looks like a rock, you break it open, it's beautiful inside. That's what this is. The Evoke Sonicware, cool. Now let's get down to business. Who is getting this? Who's gonna buy the Teenage Engineering electric scooter? Anybody? Teenage Engineering, the EPA-1 is cheaper than the OPXY synthesizer. So think about that. They're selling an electric scooter for cheaper than the OPXY. Now that is pure comedy, okay? So you can get an electric scooter and you can get Sonicware LIVEN Evoke cheaper than you can buy a OPXY. That shows you how big a joke the OPXY is. Let's look at the details. All right. EPA-1 is an e-scooter that visually delivers exactly what you would expect from Teenage Engineering. Minimalist design, clean lines, industrial coolness. It's consistent signature style is just as recognized outside the studio. At the same time, the vehicle carries the DNA of its partner Vassla, which is the scooter company, which has long been synonymous with urban e-mobility in Sweden. With a range of 120 kilometers, selectable battery capacity, and well thought out system for mounting accessories, the EPA-1 is aimed not only at a designer enthusiast, but also at individuals who want a vehicle suitable for everyday use. The name stands for Passar alla, meaning one fits all, and signals an openness to adaptation rather than rigid product thinking. The deliberate use of modularity is particularly striking. 11 reinforced mounting points on the frame to add saddlebags, holders, DIY additions. You can personalize this thing. And what's friggin' hilarious about this? This is so funny. This is so funny. Look at this. This scooter, you're gonna crack. You're gonna crack. This scooter by Teenage Engineering. Top speed. Let's see if they said top speed. Top speed, I mean 120. I'd say the top speed you're looking at. I'd say you're looking at 50 miles an hour. Could be wrong though, but I think it'd probably go 15 miles an hour. Let's see. Street perplexing at first. Yeah, why wouldn't you put the friggin' speed on there? I'd say 50 miles an hour for sure. It's a friggin' motorcycle, bro. These things are motorcycles. People are gonna use them to go back and forth to work, so they gotta be able to like keep up with traffic. So I'd say 50 miles an hour. At least 40 miles an hour, but these guys use kilometers like the Canadians, so I would say this goes, I'd say 60 kilometers an hour. This probably goes. If I was a betting man, 60 kilometers an hour, yeah. And this here cost $2,000. This is cheaper than the OPXY. Think how hilarious that is. You can take this, you got a battery in it, so you could probably run your LIVEN Evoke into this, and you could have a scooter and a LIVEN Evoke for the same price, cheaper than an OPXY. How long to charge it up from dead? I don't know, probably a couple hours. 2 battery variants in there, yeah. It says you got 2 battery variants in here. While the EPA can technically retain established e-moped standards, its minimalist service, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, dude, the funny thing is the price. $1,833 American. That's what the OP1 Field costs, $1,833, and the OPXY costs $2,100. So 2 G's. They're selling a scooter for cheaper than the OPXY. Think about that. There's an engine in this. There's wheels. There's a lithium battery of some sort, obviously, and maybe ethos on it. Maybe this comes with salt and pepper shakers. Every country has speed limits for e-bikes. Yeah, this friggin' thing here is cheaper than an OPXY. Absolute comedic gold again. This is why we say FTE, because FTE thinks that the OPXY is more expensive to make than this. That's what's funny. That's why everybody who owns Teenage Engineering products, things like this let you know that they ripped you off. And now this isn't a Teenage Engineering product. They just collaborated with this company, Vassla, for the design or whatever. So basically Vasla's setting the price at $2,000. But it just lets you know the cost to make this in China, the weight to ship it, the size of the shipping, the packaging, the engine, the battery, all the parts. And they're telling you the OPXY is more expensive to make and is worth more money. Yeah. The KO2 and the pocket operators are very affordable. Yeah, that's true. I like the I like the medieval and the KO2. I just didn't like that they sent them out to people broken and you had to DIY it yourself. Not made in Europe? I don't think so. Is it? Is anything made in Europe besides cheese? Cheese and wine are the only two things made in Europe anymore, right? Cheese and wine, dude. That's the only two things made in Europe. My KO2 has been solid, made in Spain. KO2 is made in Spain? I don't think so. Is it made in Spain? There's no way they made that in Spain. Assembled in Spain, but all the parts are Chinese. So basically the whole thing was made in China and then assembled in Spain? Or were all the parts made in Spain and assembled in Spain? That's when, listen, this is how I break down where things are made. If everything inside the thing is made in China, then it's Chinese. Yep, Maple Syrup Mafia representing today, Twin Cities Oxygen. Yeah, if all the parts are Chinese and all the internals are Chinese, then it's made in China. The batteries cost a fortune. That's the only thing with e-bikes. Yeah, the thing about that Murphy is this friggin' thing here. This is a Teenage Engineering scooter partnership, and it's cheaper than the OPXY. That's mental. Absolutely friggin' mental. Yeah, you can pay $2,000 for a guitar. It's wood and 6 strings. Yeah, that's a rip-off too. Listen, man, I think everything's a rip-off except Behringer. All right, and LIVEN. These are the only two companies that aren't ripping you off right now. Sonicware, LIVEN, and Behringer are the only two companies that aren't ripping you off. Cyber Samurai, I know this is a synthesizer company / design company that they do funny things like this. They release products like this. So they collaborated with this company, Vasila, and they made an electric scooter that's cheaper synthesizer. And that's hilarious. And I should do a video, big, huge FTE video about this because it's so funny, but I should have put this stupid scooter on the thumbnail, actually. Martin Greeley, Behringer shill? Bro, listen, you got to be paid to be a shill. I promote Behringer for the love of it because I think the company's amazing. I think they have the greatest CEO on the planet, Uli Behringer. I think they have the greatest demo team on the planet, especially with this new chick they got on the go. So I'm just the unofficial renegade Behringer ambassador, all right? I just do this for the love of it. To be a shill, you had to be given some hate. I do it for the love of it. Slave trader, that's right. I'm a shillbilly, baby, which means I don't get paid to shill. That's a shillbilly. So you can call me a shillbilly, but you can't call me a shill, because I don't get paid to do it. I just do it for the love of it. Robbie Murphy, Martin Greeley, yeah, what's happening? Crest said, my e-cycle from High Bike was 1800 and that was the lowest model, made in Germany. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was thinking about getting an e-bike too. I know that Cyber Samurai's got an epic e-bike. I was thinking about getting an e-bike. I still got my pedal bikes I got to get all sorted out and put together now for the summer, so I got to get them tuned up. I got these stupid friggin' disc brakes on the back of one of my bikes, and I've done everything to try and fix it. And I just got too annoyed with it, so I'm just gonna take it to someone and pay them. I'm of the mindset, listen, my time is way more valuable than sitting down for 4 or 5 hours to figure out how to fix disc brakes on a bike. So, what's with this Evoke? You're gonna have to rewind, I just went through it all. But the basics is it's an acoustronic synthesizer with a granular effects engine, 10 reverb algorithms. It's got a newly added reverb algorithm called the Mirage, sorry, not the Massage. And you can run your synthesizers through this and use this as an effects pedal also. And it's got, let me just tell you, it's got electronic flux oscillator, right, with 4 separate parameters. It's got 34 acoustic instruments, 256 acoustic characteristic arrays with backtide modulation. It's got a granular effects engine, insane. It's got a 4-track sequencer, which is included in all the Sonicware LIVEN. It's packaged in the classic plastic box, but like I said, it's all under the hood in that baby, you know what I mean? And that's that. If you want the full details, Slack, rewind the show and check it out. Yeah, spaceship jargon is right. Pure spaceship jargon. Acoustronic flux oscillator. It's amazing. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm more of the mindset of paying for. If people got the skill to do it, I'd rather pay them to do it, and then I get my time back. So what I'm actually doing, I call it buying time. So anything I can pay someone to do, if I can afford it, even if it's expensive, my time is worth it, you know? Unless I want to learn the new skill, and unless I want to, you know, do a little project for the fun of it or whatever, I'll just pay somebody. Because even if it's very, very expensive, I'm just buying my time. Because time is the only commodity that is finite on this planet. Everything else is renewable resource. Oil's renewable, water's renewable, everything else is abundant. The only thing that's not renewable is time, and that's the only thing you can't get back. So if you don't have a lot of time in your life, you need to think about allocating some resources to buying your time back. And that's what I do. So that's what I'm going to do with those pedal bikes. I'm going to bring them some jabroni who's good at fixing them, and I'm going to drop the bikes off and be like, bro, give me a call when they're fixed. And he's going to be like, it's going to I mean, like, it don't matter how much it costs. Just call me when they're done, and I'll send you some Bitcoin. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's called buying time. It's one of the greatest life hacks that everybody forgets about is purchasing your time back. Because you only got so much time in the day, and you know as well as I do that after a 18-hour workday, if you got to come home and DIY a project because your missus needs it done, you need to sit down and have a chat with her and be like, you know what, baby, listen, I know that this goes against conventional wisdom, but I think it's a much better idea if we take some of those resources and we buy our time back. Because all the time I'm spending doing this stupid project that you want me to do, we could be out enjoying ourselves, spending time with the family, taking a little bit of a trip, hitting the beach, going camping, and we could be doing all that. And then when we get back, this DIY project's going to be finished. And we would have done all that stuff. And if not, we're going to do it ourselves. It'll probably not be as good as the pro. And, you know, this is what's up. So basically you just have to, sell it, you know? And nothing against DIY projects. Like I said, if you enjoy that and that's your hobby and you want to do DIY projects and you want to screw up and fix it and, you know, that's your thing. It's not my thing. Unless I want to. Otherwise, I'm buying time. I gotta head in for another shift of work now. Like I said, I started work this morning, 3:30. Finished it up, grabbed a coffee, came in here to bring you guys the breaking news. And that's the breaking news for today. To put a bookend on it, we got the Sonicware LIVEN Evoke, $239, $259 with the power pack. And then we got the Teenage Engineering scooter, that is $2,000, and it's cheaper than an OPXY. So figure that out. All right, take it easy.